How does exercise affect cortisol levels on keto? Have you ever wondered how exercise impacts cortisol levels for those following a ketogenic diet? Let's break it down in a way that makes sense. When you start a ketogenic diet, your body goes through some changes. One of the first things you might notice is an increase in cortisol levels. This happens because your body is adjusting to lower carbohydrate availability. Cortisol helps maintain blood sugar levels by promoting gluconeogenesis, which is the process of creating glucose from non-carbohydrate sources. Now, when you add exercise into the mix, things can get a bit more complex. Physical activity is a stressor, and it activates the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which regulates cortisol secretion. So, if you are exercising while in the early stages of keto, you may see even higher cortisol levels. As your body adapts to the ketogenic diet, which means it becomes more efficient at using ketones and fat for energy, resting cortisol levels typically decrease. This is a good thing because your body no longer relies heavily on cortisol to manage blood sugar. However, during exercise, especially if the workout is longer or more intense, cortisol levels can still rise significantly. Research indicates that after prolonged exercise lasting 20 minutes or more, post-exercise cortisol levels are often higher on a low-carbohydrate or ketogenic diet compared to a high-carbohydrate diet. This suggests that while resting cortisol may normalize, exercise continues to stimulate cortisol releases. Several factors can influence how cortisol responds during exercise on a ketogenic diet. For instance, the timing of your workouts in relation to meals can play a role. Exercising after eating may help suppress cortisol levels, while working out in a fasted state could increase them. Staying hydrated is also important. Dehydration can elevate cortisol levels due to increased internal stress. Additionally, cortisol levels naturally fluctuate throughout the day. This means the time you exercise can affect your cortisol response. For those on a ketogenic diet, here are some practical tips. Expect an initial rise in cortisol when starting keto, which may be amplified by exercise. With consistent adaptation to keto, resting cortisol should decrease, but remember that exercise will still cause temporary spikes. Managing hydration, meal timing, and the intensity of your workouts can help keep cortisol responses in check. Some athletes on a ketogenic diet may also consider carb cycling or targeted carbohydrate intake around their workouts. This strategy can help modulate cortisol levels and improve performance. In summary, exercise on a ketogenic diet leads to higher acute cortisol responses during physical activity, especially during longer sessions. However, resting cortisol tends to decrease after your body adapts to the diet. This reflects a shift in how your body manages energy and hormones while on a ketogenic plan.